Hey! I'm Ace, the Giga Snail. I play for Castaways, and that's my story.
Hey, I'm Gadra. I'm a random player that wanted to play Aegis, and TKG was nice enough to let me play with them.
Hi, I'm in Asia, and I'm on Wombat's Tempo. And I'm honored that Hirsch called me a friend. I'm not.
I'm a real Prism Sword. Also, just call me Prism. I'm a player for PCP, Puff Guy Peddlers. I am also honored to have been called a friend too.
It went kind of okay. We did some weird aggro stuff at the beginning, and then played like real decks, so it's going okay.
Well, I realized my mic was set to the wrong setting. Now the stream can hear me.
Wait a minute.
Rewind.
So they
didn't have mic issues.
They could hear you. They could hear you guys. Just stream couldn't hear me. So once again, welcome.
Okay, so they didn't hear you.
Yeah. So well, let me reintroduce. Sorry, everything's so like last second right now. I had to rush home from work. So bear with me, guys. Once again, welcome to the Aegis Legends of Runeterra AM Draw Show. I'm your host, Lord Director Hirsch. Once again, I'm joined by these four people I can happily call my friends that you've already met now. So once again, we have Group 1 TA Boomers with a lot of turnarounds in these groups. We have TA Boomers rounding up first with 7-2. We have Group 2, Team Keg Gaming coming in at 6-3. We have Group 3, Broken Wombats, 7-2, and Omega Lol CE at 8-2. Now, I'll ask the question again because they didn't hear me. Godral, how is your week's games? Like, how was your Group 2 matches this week?
Like I said, it went well. I feel like people are trying hard to counter decks we don't play, so it's going well overall.
Okay. Ace from the Castaways. What happened? You're 5-4 now. You're sitting at third place. What? Like, give us some insight on like what happened to you guys last week.
I choked.
That's it. You just choked.
Yeah. Well, I could say, I could find like, like why it happened. I got picked first twice. Opponents targeting, but TLDR. I just fucking choked, and now we're in a bad spot. That's pretty much it.
Well, I hope this week you can swallow the ace.
Fair enough.
What?
What'd you say, Godra?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, who said that? Was
I
it
think
you,
it was
Manasia?
Manasia.
What'd you say,
Yeah,
Manasia?
I hope this week you're able to swallow.
Yeah. I've been practicing, so yeah, I think I'm better at swallowing now. So I'll definitely be better.
So, how do you guys feel about like these turnarounds with like TA Boomers taking first place in Group 1, Broken Wombats taking that first place now, and now ABG Zon coming in for the second place now?
I always have a soft spot for the ABG folks. There's like a couple of people on there that like I've like talked with and played with, practiced with. Big shouts to Number Punish as well on ABG Zon. But yeah, like it's cool to always see a lot of the ABG folks put in some work.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I know ABG was like kind of looked down upon again with like some members of the community, but the thing is, like, they have like 1,000 players, but they all registered like the best players for this league. All right, like the players that they brought to this tournament are not weak. For ABG Noxus, they have like some of the best, probably the best, like Latin American players on the server.
I don't know, man.
Um,
Not a single ABG on my screen is going to play off, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm very biased because I don't like most of what happens on Twitter, and whenever there's a ABG, like it makes me cringe very hard. At the beginning of the league, I was talking to an unnamed top player, and we were saying that ABG Noxus would probably the only B team doing well, and well, Zone is doing well, but Noxus is, and I don't see other ABG on the top right here.
Fair enough. What are your thoughts, Prism?
I think there are a couple of ABG teams that I thought would be doing a little bit better, personally speaking. Like I thought I was hoping to see like Apo put in some work actually as well, because I was one of his duo mates in the Fight Night duo reboot, and like we got second place there, so I was like always like personally like cheering on Dapo as well. And so I think he was on ABG PNZ, if I recall correctly. And I think that might be out of playoff contentions now. I think that's also in my group too. But yeah, I think there's like just the overall Aegis format has been like very fun to watch. It was personally my first Aegis to play in, and to like see like everyone like put in work has been like pretty fun. Like both like the TO aspect and also like the player aspect for sure.
Fair enough. And one other team that I forgot to mention, TA Discipline. They were 4th last week, and now they're rounding up 2nd place right now, overpassing They Always Have It now.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. They always have it where like first, and T Discipline was like all at the bottom, and they just like swoop.
Yeah, it's amazing how things can change in just one whole week. But
The underdog arc.
it's still anyone's contention still, but we'll get into that later on in the show. Moving on to groups 5 through 8, we have Targon's Valley rounding up first place, going 6-4. Wombat's Tempo 7-2. RPG Scarlet at 8-2, and Puffcat Peddlers at 8-1. So, not a whole lot of change for first place besides Targon's Valley coming in to basically extend their lead for first place. Other than that, not much has really changed on here besides Quag Business moving up. What else we at? Yeah, that's all. That's pretty much it. What do you guys think about these so far?
So the placement I'm most surprised by is RPG Crimson, right? Because like going into groups, like RPG Crimson was in S tier in a lot of tier lists, and they're known for having a some very strong players. You know, you have Cup, like Indian Giga Chad, all right, mid-range Giga Chad. You know, Loser, who is like one of the best Lee Sins in the server. But right now they're currently second from last in the group. Will they be able to bring it back? I don't know. On the contrast, in the same group, at the top of it is like Targon's Valley, who is like led by my ex-teammate Conch. And I remember one thing he told me was that like his group, the most important thing was that they were like both like they're all like very passionate, and they're willing to put in time to like prep and like, you know, just like put in work into Aegis. And although their names weren't as like well known as like those in like RPG Crimson, it's like just like that passion and that effort they're willing to put in is like more important, I believe, than just like previous accomplishments. And that's the cool thing about Aegis, I think. Some people get mad about the tier list that everyone makes at the beginning, but like I think it's cool for like teams to just like surpass those tier lists and just like show that like they can like come out on top.
If anything, those tier lists can be like big motivating factors as well, because like you're like, oh yeah, I think I could be like a relatively well-known name, and people like just don't put you high on the list. You're like, oh, now I gotta like work to like get on top of those lists, you know. So I think there's like always like that fun aspect for sure. I think if everyone was like willing to put in the work and like just synergize and vibe well with their teammates, I think like a lot of upsets can happen. Like I'm a big fan of upset factor personally speaking. And where better to start an upset when you're working with friends to do so?
Yeah, I'm also a big fan of the upset factor as well. For all you Americans and all you football watchers, yes, I am a Lions fan. One day we'll make it to the Super Bowl. Cope.
You said football. The fuck is? There's no lines in football, man. What kind of football?
The real football, not the ones that you kick with your feet. The ones you play with your hands.
These Americans, man. You can't call a football if you throw it with hands.
Anyways, Malaysia, you guys are 7-2. How'd your guys' week go this week?
We went 3-0. We brought 9 SI decks, and this quietest card is pretty good. All right, it's good enough to carry deep and make it good.
All right, and Prism, how'd you guys go?
Admittedly, this was definitely our weakest week because we finally suffered our first in-match loss group or whatever. There are definitely a couple of factors that went into it. Like, I don't think we were able to get as much practice as we would have liked, considering the new patch was a couple of days ago. We also kind of freestyle with like a bunch of like weird lists. Like, I personally brought Viego because I thought, oh, if this is like a board-centric meta, Viego can just have bigger numbers than the enemy board, and that'll be perfectly fine, even with the one mana nerf. And unfortunately, it didn't work out as well as I'd hoped. But I think this week and playoffs, we should be looking fairly strong. Like, it might still do some experimentation going into playoffs, but I think once you get into playoffs, we should like feel pretty strong form.
So, Prism, I have a question. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Isn't it super hard to care when you're like guaranteed first place? Like when you're in that spot where winning or losing kind of doesn't matter. Do you guys like lay off, or you still prep usually?
We're still trying our best in terms of like both prepping and scrimming. I think with the fact that like we don't have to be as stressed considering we are locked in for playoffs, and I forget if we're locked in for first seed or not. Or like relatively close to it with a single match win. But we still don't want to rest on our laurels because like with like a whole new patch changing, and with like a bunch of other teams, we're going to be facing off against other strong teams within playoffs as well. We don't want to like let off the brakes quite yet. Like we do have that wiggle room to try out things like, oh, I think this is good. Like I saw someone do this on ladder once. I want to try it out myself. Or oh, like I'm still trying to figure out
Ash Kindred.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's like, I think personally speaking, we're all trying to find a third deck we're like feeling super strong about. Like I have like one deck I'm feeling very good about, a second deck that like I'm feeling okay with, and then third deck I'm just like, like I'm just spiraling, trying to figure out something. Yeah, same stuff, different meta.
Random, and you hope it works.
Yeah.
I'm willing to believe that you guys are like trying your hardest. Like it's still like, not slacking off even though you're guaranteed first. But and then I see that Tank Buster brought Orn Udyr, and you guys registered it for your like collab set as well.
In Tank Buster's defense, he is a part of the Bone Club squad. He is a true boner. And I stand by my boner brethren. But all jokes aside, like I think like this week when we suffered our first loss, like we did kind of like some of it was like I did mention the patch meta shifts, but also like there were a couple of rough matchups. Like bringing Bone Club in a quietest like meta is definitely a little bit rough when the like 5 mana just absolutely
gets 5 IP1.
Yeah, exactly. But I still think it was like, if there was a week for us to experiment with like either Bone Club or Viego, I think that personally speaking, like when you're already locked in, it's a pretty fair spot to
that's what I thought.
Have some funsies with.
Also,
So-
throw some curveballs for people that want to prep for you in the playoffs. What did they bring?
Yeah, exactly.
What
Like, not to say like, oh, we're hiding our strategies. Like, we want to like be mysterious and cryptic while we're going into the final week. It's like, I do think like we're just experimenting and just having fun with it. But we're still gonna like try our best in those fun matches for sure.
makes a lot of sense.
So my question for you, Prism Sword, I don't know if you said who it was or not. I may have missed that, but who do we have to blame that ruined the dream?
It was actually TA Mind Splitters to beat us. I think yeah, it was just a lot of quietuses going along. But I think also like I personally overestimated Viego's strength a bit. Like I'm always like on the slight Viego copium trade, so I will definitely take a little bit of the heat for
I
that
can
one.
help you. When it costs 6, it's unplayable.
True.
And I'm like
But,
the biggest Viego sim.
So what you're
Yeah.
saying is Bar Viego.
Diego.
Why are you telling them our secret tag?
I think like also like it is definitely a little bit rough because like some of the way how the removal lines up in the game right now favors more like a smaller threat density, and like a lot of the ways that you kind of like can deal with smaller threat density has been like a bit nerfed now. Like Hate Spike not as god tier as it used to be at 1 mana. And also like equipment's kind of like separating keywords and whatnot, so like Quicksand's not the greatest either.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's there might be some hidden Viego ratio. Like I will admit I'm not the strongest deck builder in the game. I'm like much better as a pilot than I am deck builder. But I think there may be some Viego secret sauce if like someone's willing to like throw a billion LP to find it.
I think I might know what that secret sauce is. It's this cool card called Quietus.
Oh, true, yeah.
And then you remove Viego because it's got 6, and you play other cards instead.
Yeah, the 6 in the top corner of the card definitely hurts him a lot.
But if you flip it upside down, it becomes a 9, and that'll hurt him even more.
That's pretty nice, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Thank you. So any other how do we feel about Quag Business moving up to second place now? Like, is this something you guys saw happening?
Yeah.
I'm always a fan of good logo putting in work.
I talked.
Their logo
Yeah,
is not
such
the
a good
logo of a
logo.
loser.
I talked with Underlight. They said they're making playoffs. So I trust them. That's it.
That's how you curse around.
Yeah. A businessman would never lie.
True. Especially a Quag businessman. Alrighty. Moving on to predictions. So we have from groups 1 to 4, Godrel picking TA Boomers, Thrall's Karma Gaming, They Always Have It, TA Discipline, Broken Wombats, ABG Noxus, Omega Lol CE, and ABG Zon. You want to go ahead and explain your picks here and why you picked these, Godrel?
Yep, I believe in Thrall's Karma Gaming. I'm pretty sure. Like, Shikate is in that spot where like they're almost guaranteed, and they're pretty new players, I would say. And I think that the pressure can get to them, and Thrall's just needs to go 2-0 this week, and they got that in the bag. And it'd be like a cool story, I find.
So what's kind of throwing me off here, and you saw this reflected in DMs. Group 2, where's your team, man?
We're not making it. Yeah, I'll explain.
You're sitting. This man's
I think you
team.
gotta inhale from copium at least before you say that.
Dude,
I'll explain.
his team is sitting at first place, and he doesn't even pick his team to win.
I'll explain.
Can I
Alright.
say something before Godra explains the reason?
Sure, go.
Back when TKG was cool, back in the days, they were all cocky and confident. on this new TKG, man, how can you not put your team making playoffs, man? This is a disgrace towards everything TKG stands for, and I'm ashamed to even be in TKG, even if it's in a different league. Honestly,
It's
I cannot stand this.
logical.
I'm
You'll
molding about this since the
you'll
moment I saw
understand.
this. I can't. That's all. That's all. Rant over.
Okay, so we're playing against both teams this week. So it's the perfect Cinderella story where we're like at the top and both of them can beat us to like take over our spot. Also, they always have it is like a bunch of new players, but they've been like very intense. Like they were dominating at the beginning and it shows that they're doing their homework and they're like really putting efforts into it. So I'm pretty sure that they're gonna make playoff, and you don't see it, but I have to fight the memeiest crap in our Discord. Like there was multiple decks with hot heads in it that were thrown at me. One of my teammates
Listen.
played disc twice and won, and he
Listen,
wants to
Hot
bring
Hat is a
disc
good card.
again.
Listen, Hot Hat is a good card.
So I'm pretty sure we're not making it because we have Swole usually that's like trying to like put some sense into us, but he's winning worlds. So because of that, I'm all alone trying to fight all the memes, and I don't think I can do it.
Maybe you gotta put in Mr. 6v himself to become the meme.
Okay, well, just give him the hot hat decks to win worlds, and then he'll help you.
Alright. Moving on to Ace, we have TA Boomers, Thrall's Karma Gaming, TKG, TAD, Broken Wombats, Bass Pro Shop, Omega Lol CE, and the Castaways. You wanna go over your thought process for this?
Sure. TA Boomers first, TKG bias, TA. The other team seems to be slacking. Wombats first, Bass Pro Shop, bias, OC first, Castaway bias. Also, Castaways is making it. There's no reality where Castaways doesn't make it.
No
You tell yourself
timelines
that.
whatsoever.
Also, I'm roping Monty right now. I'll stop talking.
I have a cool hot head deck if you want.
Listen. I don't own Hot Hat, and I also might not play because I have Worlds this Saturday, so I might not be able to be there for my team, but I 100% believe that my team can just 3-0 beat ABG in our match against them and just easily sweep through there and go to playoffs. Like, I'm not even worried.
Damn, this man has a lot of faith in his team, and I appreciate that. Alright, moving on to Malaysia. We have TA Boomers, Shikate, TKG, They Always Have It, Broken Wombats, ABG Noxus, Omega Lil CE, and ABG Zon. You want to go over your picks there for a second, Malaysia?
Yeah, so a lot of these picks, and I think this goes for like all of us, it was pretty easy to choose like a lot of time just because they're pretty clear point leaders right now. For example, TA Boomers, don't see them toppling anytime soon, and I know they're very like strong established players, some that I've had the liberty to like work with. For example, like Rattling Bones, he took a hiatus, but he's like back and kicking now, and like back when I was bad at the game, he was like the person that taught me why it's like bad to Vile Feast enemy sentry in the FTR mirror. Stuff like that. And then I chose GK just because like they're like second, and I'm a huge fan of Trinithan. Like he's got the drive going for him, and like his kid's really good at the game too.
So you're betting
two.
you're not gonna choke.
In group 2, it was close between so I chose TKG because they're point leader, and then I don't know whether to have TA Discipline or that Always Have It. I thought it was pretty close. But I saw that this week that They Always Have It. They get to play against Chip, who's kind of down bad this season. So I thought they'll probably get a win versus Chip, which is why I think like they have a higher chance.
Ouch.
To get out there. Hey,
I'll tell
That's the
them.
thing. You know, they went from like winning last season to like being a bottom group this season.
They
That shows that
literally
like you always
won
have like
last tournament.
yeah.
Hey man, it's a rough
You can always
season for them.
things.
See,
Yeah.
see, this is the TKG members I'm talking about, the cocky one. I don't know what the fuck, man. Not putting TKG in winning groups. I can't. I can't. I'm gonna mope about this forever and ever. Never gonna
I'm
stop.
gonna lose my TKG card.
This is why I don't play for the TKG Americans, man. They're all cringe.
So for group 3, I chose Broken Wombats because they're broken and they're like point leaders. And then for my second team to make it out, I didn't know whether to put ABG Noxus or Bass Pro Shops. So in the end, I do want Icado on the casted couch. So, you know, sorry, Bass Pro Shops, you're not making it out. And for this week, it comes down a lot to who wins the match between ABG Nox and Bass Pro Shops. So like they are fighting against each other. In the end, I chose ABG Noxus to make it out also because they have 3 games this week that matter.
Yeah.
Whereas Bass Pro Shops only has 2, so they have like a bit of a higher chance of like they have like more potential to raise their score. And for group 4, you know, chose OC again. Like, well, actually these are both easy because they're just like both clear point leaders.
Fair enough.
The level of disrespect, man.
All right, moving on to Prism Sword, we have TA Boomers, Chikate, Team Keg Gaming, They Always Have It, ABG Noxus, Bass Pro Shop, Omega Lol CE, and ABG Zon. You want to go over your picks here, Prism?
Yeah, sure. So the first 2 groups and group 4 is kind of self-explanatory. I feel like at least for group 1 and group 4, like they are just clear leaders out of the pack. Group 2, I felt it was kind of like fairly close in how to measure it out. But I do think TKG and They Always Have It are like doing fairly well. I think their last showing in the most recent week looked fairly good, and I feel like last week kind of matters. Like it weighs a little bit more than the earlier season or earlier parts of the season, especially since like new patch and all. But I think that group would be pretty compelling. I think the craziest thing I said was the group 3 prediction, because everyone has at least like the one of Wombat, and then it's like 50-50 between Bass Pro Shop and ABG. I thought, what if we had like the craziest collapse from the top seed? Because if I saw the schedule correctly, it was technically possible, like if ABG and Bass Pro win all their games. I know ABG and Bass Pro have like the matchup against one another, but I think it was still possible. Like,
ABG also has an extra game.
Yeah. Okay. So I was forgetting if I like read the schedule correctly or not, or there was like a stat I was missing. But I thought it would be the craziest upset, like in the last minute, like week, to just have like the first seed kind of like falter against like the 2. Because I think every team in the top 3 in Group 3 is like very accomplished. Like everyone is like a fairly known player with like tons of accolades behind them. But yeah, I personally think like more realistically, it's probably going to be Wombat, and then it'll be the one of ABG or Bass Pro. I'm personally a bit more biased towards Bass Pro because definitely a friend and fan of Sleepy Panda and Ikeda and Drizzle. But all like thoughts aside, like I think Group 2 and Group 3 definitely have like the compelling storyline going into this final week before playoffs.
No, I respect that. Just like not picking the point leaders.
Yeah, because like that's the craziest thing. Like, it's the easiest way to just predict. Like, oh yeah, like clear point winner first, going out first, and then like everyone else is gonna fight for the second seed scrap. But I think, what if you become the craziest prophet, even if it's the most copium take, and it's just like Wombat has to fight for their lives in this final week.
So I get to
happen.
Also, one thing I'd like to say, it's like I found it really funny that the thing that might have like left base pro shops out of like qualifying is the fact that they decided to bring Mono Talia 1 week, and then
Yeah,
not only that,
I was
they
literally gonna
made
bring
it
that.
their playoff set.
I was gonna bring that tweet up as well, like when everyone was talking about like, oh, like people are bringing too many like hothead memes or whatever, decks or whatever, into this week, and I was remember specifically like Drizzoth was just like away for a bit from his team's Discord. Everyone's like, what if we brought this deck? It was the funniest tweet of ages so far, in my opinion.
I know personally, Drizzle was pissed about that. He's mad. Brings good decks, alright? But then his own team goes in there to
he
police
was
his
just
own
like the
team.
classic like play good stuff, like bring good stuff, play good stuff, and you're just gonna do good as a player. And then everyone around him was like, what if we just had fun at
That
the
was
circus tonight?
such
And
a
I
funny
think that's
tweet.
beautiful.
They
Yeah.
were just a week ahead of their time. If they just waited a week for the buff on the landmark, then it would have been like maybe tolerable. But
No,
just, you know,
I'm pretty sure the Riot Bounce, the lore Bounce team just watches Ikato stream because like
Yeah, I think he has like a secret lobbying
and then it got
group for
nerfed for like
LOL
no
events.
reason, right? There's like no other reason for it to get nerfed. Same thing, like this patch, like who actually like independently thought, hey, you know, this like Reaver's Row card, we should buff it. You know, I really think it needs like time in the limelight. You know, like there are like a million irrelevant cards, and it just happened that one decides to get buffed because Ikato's big on it.
Yeah. It's too many coincidences in a row.
Have we ever seen Ikato and the LOR dev in the same room? Checkmate.
Monkus.
wait, you see the death room?
Monkus.
I didn't know that existed.
Alrighty. Moving on to my picks. My picks have changed a little bit from last week. Group 1, I had TA Boomers and Shikate. Group 2, I had still Team Keg Gaming rounding it up. And last week I had They Always Have It. This time, I'm going to be swapping it to TA Discipline. My reasoning for this is they always have it. We're sitting on top of their group, and they had a rough week this week. Now the pressure is on. A lot of teams, they don't thrive well under pressure. I think that the pressure is going to get to them, and TA Discipline's going to be able to sneak out of groups.
Man, that's so cursy.
For Group 3, I had Broken Wombats and ABG Noxus last week. This week, I think I'm going to put Broken Wombats and Bass Pro Shop together going out because once again the same thing. Both ABG Noxus are playing against Bass Pro Shop and Broken Wombats this week. They were looking hot starting out the season, but now since Broken Wombats was able to take first place, I think that ABG Noxus is going to be struggling, and the pressure is going to be on them as well. For Group 4, last week I had Omega Lol CE and the Castaways. This week I think I'm going to be sticking with Omega Lol CE and ABG Zon.
Came with you first, and I thought we were friends.
That's
You
so
literally
nasty.
said we were friends when you began the stream, man. I can't be.
I believed in you last week, Ace, and then you
You
choked.
can believe this week as well.
I believed. I don't know, man.
Listen,
After seeing you choke last week, I don't know if I can.
Listen, listen now. A true believer would never just switch on me like that, Hirsch. This just proves that you do not count me as a friend, Hirsch, and my heart is broken right now. I cannot express in words how disappointed I am. I've also lost the game, so.
Ace, you literally said you wouldn't be able to bring it this weekend. Like 5 minutes ago.
I mean, it's still, it's the spirit that counts. It's the thought that counts,
See, if you were playing this week and you're bringing Fizz
Hey, then I'm
Action,
playing. Well, no, I can't bring Fizz.
if you bring Fizz Action, if you bring Fizz Action in the deck that you were working on yesterday, I'd consider it.
Wait, which deck? The first one or the second one?
The Aurelia deck.
Oh, yeah. Listen. Irelia, Spirits Unleashed. That deck is winning worlds.
Those blades are gonna hurt.
All right. Any other comments on anybody's picks for groups 1 through 4?
Also, another comment. GG to Monty.
2-1.
I lost. Monty won.
Good job, Monty. I'm proud of you.
He played
So-
Right of Negations. Man.
So the reason why my picks aren't ever on stream is because there's not enough room to throw my picks in there, Conch. What?
Oh, it's
What
Monty.
the fuck?
Monty,
What
he's
the
here.
A new challenger approaches.
Bye, guys.
I was
While,
literally about to just pop Raging Demon and just like
Not
destroy
considered
everyone.
BM.
a
That
while
looked like BM to me.
Monty
Yeah,
appeared.
Yeah, man. Let the world know. Monty, DM all the time.
All right. Moving on to groups 5 through 8. We have Goddraw picking Targon's Valley, Church of Tempo, Wombat's Tempo. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm sorry. Beautiful Gamers. I'm like having like a mental brain fart apparently right now. RPG Scarlet, Quag Business, Puffcap Peddlers, and Wombat Hydra. You want to explain your picks here?
Like, I don't know if it was the same last Aegis, but I felt like when I got into the other groups, besides exactly Group 5, it's very difficult to not pick the top 2 teams because most of the team with like worst records have like played more games or are in like very terrible spots. So there's not a lot to say. Besides like that, Group 5, I think Church of Tempo and Targon's Valley just have like the best team overall.
Okay. Alrighty, moving on to Ace. We have Targon's Valley, Drop Bears. We have Wombat's Tempo, Beautiful Gamers, RPG Scarlet, Quag Business, PCP, and TA Mind Splitters.
Okay, let me give you the insight now. So obviously, Targon Valley, not only their first, I really like the team. Has Conch, has Dragon, has all of the RLOR boys. Great team, they're making playoffs. Then I have Drop Bears. Now, I don't see anybody picking Drop Bears. I just want to say that's factually incorrect. Drop Bears have the OC buff, you know, and they are insane at playing dumb shit that nobody can expect, and that counts a long way, man. Especially in a week where like nobody knows what's happening. Like, yeah, you know, like some of the meta is decided, but other than that, nobody knows what's happening. Drop Bears are definitely bringing some spice and clutching it. Group, what's this? 6, 7, 5? I'm bet with number 6. Just top 2 teams, simple. Group 7, same,
Yeah.
top 2 teams, simple. Group 8. Now listen. I'm not gonna say I can see in the future, but Monty did just beat me, so like, hell no, I'm not putting a wobbly Hydra making playoffs, you know? Obviously, I just made this you know, also slide past the EU boys, Simon Sorry. So yeah, you know, that's my picks. That's my thought process behind the picks.
Alrighty. Moving on to Manesia, and Manesia's already getting hate in the chat for this. We have Targon's Valley, Church of Tempo from Group 5, Wombat's Tempo, and the spicy BKB pick.
That's insane.
Yes,
We
sir.
have Group 7, RPG Scarlet and Quag Biz, and PCP, and the pick that's making him get hate, picking TA Mind Splitters.
All right. So most guests that come on, they just like pick their own team and then they pick like the people that like to make it out, right? What I'm doing instead is I'm like taking the people I like and flaming them. Right? That's better content.
That's the motivation.
That's not.
Yeah. So group 5, Targon's Valley. I already talked about them before. Like I think very like good team that like nobody saw coming. Conch and like the other players on the team like worked hard to get to this point. And Church of Tempo, yeah, I just chose them because they're also pretty high up in point leading. I didn't know much about them or drop bears, so I just chose Tempo because the Codius is gonna disagree, but like he's calling his lawyers. But I'm a pretty big fan of Tempo. So for Group 6, all right, this is the spicy pick. All right, BKB, 2 wins behind Beautiful Gamers. How could they make it out, right? Well, Beautiful Gamers, they're playing against us this week and against BKB. And BKB is also playing against us, playing against Beautiful Gamers, and then like one other set that matters. So they have like 3 games to make it out. So a lot of this comes down to whether Beautiful Gamers can beat BKB in their set. Because if they don't, then like BKB has like a very real chance of making it out. And I always thought like, we always thought that Beautiful Gamers like kind of trolled in like every Aegis in groups, right? Like I just imagine all the backseat sets that Jordan is there. Like, what am I? He's like playing like a normal human being, and then all his other teammates are just like trolling him and like suggesting like just misplays. I can very much see that. And I thought it'd be like really funny if like Jordan like tops or like anyone on their team like tops worlds, but then like they don't make it out of Aegis.
Aegis, the true group of killers. Just too many bonkers players here.
But
Yeah.
Minasia, like in this situation, like they know they can get crushed by Bandle. Isn't it the part where they decide to go like, okay, we're going try hard this week. Everybody has just like good decks, and they just play optimally and easy playoffs.
Okay, but would it be funnier if they didn't and didn't make it out? I'm a BKB believer, right?
It would be funny.
View is washed.
Yeah, I don't think people consider the comedic factor of standing spots too often. So I stand behind that. That's like the same thing where I said like, oh yeah, imagine if like Wombats in wait, which group was it? Was it group 3? It was like, yeah, what if both ABG and Bass Pro just make it out and just the Wombat just like flounders a bit last week? That would be hilarious. So I give a +1 to that comedic factor.
So group 7, everyone else did the same. RPG, clear point leader. Hog Business, second. Not as defined as a point leader, but how can you like look at their logo? That is not the logo of a loser. Alright.
Business.
Now group A, the spicy one that I got flamed for. So PCP, clear point leader, like very strong players on their team. And so I did not choose my teammates, Lovely Hydra. So as I said, it's more entertaining to just flame your friends. But actually looking at the games, this week, Wobbly Hydra has to play against. They both have 2 sets that matter. The other one is the intergroup set.
Which matters.
And like Hydra, they have to beat PCPU. So that's why I like weighed TA like slightly. Like I want to believe my teammates, right? But I weighed TA slightly to like be more favored to make it out, just because Hydra needs to beat PCP. But it also depends. PCP might just troll this week. They're already like pretty locked in for first. So we'll see. Oh,
I'm
and also
patiently looking at my bank account. I'm kidding. My lawyer said that was a joke.
Yeah. Can I talk to your lawyer? Anyways, moving on to Prism Sword. We have Targon Valley, Church of Tempo, Wombats Tempo, Beautiful Gamers, RPG Scarlet, Quag Business, PCP, and Wobbly Hydra. Want to go over your picks real quick, man?
Yeah, I think the first couple of groups definitely like fairly self-explanatory. I feel like Group 5 clear point leaders, Group 6. I actually did consider the Breaking Vandal potential upset factor. What as Manasia said, because they are facing off against Beautiful Gamers this week. But I kind of just brought it to Beautiful Gamers. One, because I appreciate my boy Seth. I'm a big fan. I think he can definitely close out the last week fairly cleanly when push comes to shove. Group 7 also clear point leaders, and also that Quagsire is just going to work. Like some people like play Runeterra after getting back from their jobs. Like Quagsire is going to work. That is his job. But yeah, this Quagsire is just putting in work. I'm a fan. He's definitely making the playoffs. And then Group 8, I think Group 8, I jokingly did want to put us in for the playoff spot to just give highlights and shout outs to the other teams that are in our group that are putting in work. But obviously you have to put us in because one, we're 100% guaranteed.
There's no way.
And then two, there's no way we fail. Even if we just instantly concede all of our matches coming up. Obviously wouldn't do that, but yeah, so us making it out first seed. And the final two spots going between Mind Splitter and Hydra, I did take a lot of time to deliberate these thoughts because I think, honestly speaking, you could make a justification for either team making it out and it would sound perfectly fair. Because TA Mind Splitters, they are the one team that did beat us within the regular season matchups in the group in-group match fights. And Wobbly Hydra, I feel all just have very strong and accomplished players. But realistically speaking, the way how this match this week does get decided, I feel will just be between the final match of Group 8 itself, because it will be between both Hydra and Mind Splitters if I read the schedule correctly. So yeah, I will give Hydra the slight edge, even though Mind Splitters was the one team to beat us. Not out of salt, I don't want the team to beat us to make it out. But I do think it is fairly close. And I think anything can happen this final day that's coming up soon.
Awesome. Alrighty. Moving on to my picks. So I don't remember what I picked for these groups last week. So well, for most of them I do. This week I think it's gonna be Targon's Valley, and it's honestly anyone else's game unfortunately besides Duck Peak. Duck Peak has an 80% chance of getting eliminated.
Yo, hold on. 20%.
It's still possible. It's not.
20%. 20% is insanely huge odds.
It's still possible as long as a meteor hits everybody's computer and phones.
Wait, that's 0.0001%. Man, listen, if there is more than 0.5% of the thing happening, it'll happen. Have you not played a game of Follow R where your opponent just randomly creates the perfect card that makes you lose the game? Well, fun fact, that has less odds happening than them winning, them going through the group with 20%. What I'm saying is, it's very doable and highly likely. 20%, I take those chances any day.
Well, to answer your question, or to answer what you just said as a rebuttal, first, I don't think that was a very fun fact. I did not have fun with that fact. Second, I want whatever copium you're on.
Yeah, I'll give you a number to my top copium dealer.
Hey, yo. Alright, but if I had to pick a second team going into this, I'd probably have to pick Drop Bears, just because they have Fair Jordans on the team, and I forgot who else is on the team. Cheekster is very new to the scene. I know that. Who was their other two players? Their other two players being Cobalt, which is a very solid player, and Owen as well. They're all three of them are very solid players. Cheekster still, I think Cheekster's still finding his ground. He, like I said, he's fairly new to the scene, so he's got a lot of people to basically learn from. So if I had to pick a second team, it'd probably be Drop Bears. Moving on to Group 6. We have it's obviously a no-brainer to me. It's going to be Wombats, Tempo, and Beautiful Gamers. I Wombat's tempo 100%. I have no doubt in Beautiful Gamers. Beautiful Gamers is a solid team. Always has been, always will be. They've always made it out of playoffs. They've basically made it to either both seasons. They basically either made it all. They won season 0. Last season they made it all the way to semis. I think they lost in semis. Yes, they made it all the way to semis. So I have no doubt that they'll be bringing their A game to this. Group 7, I would pick RPG Scarlet and also Quag Business. Just because I'm still blown away by Damien's bad man mentality of bringing like Timo Gwen.
What?
He brought Timo Gwen
Last week?
the week before.
Thanks.
In week 3, he won the game. That was he won the first set for sure. I don't know about the rest, but the man has balls of steel. I congratulate him. A man that's able to bring that and still take dubs off of people. That has my vote.
You're not the man that practiced tier 1 decks 1,000 times. You're the man that practiced Timo Gwen 1,000 times.
But it's super easy. With bad decks, all you have to do is win with them.
Exactly. He always brings spice. He is on Quag Business, and he means business.
It means business. Yeah.
That fire is going to work.
Exactly. And for Group 8, I have PCP. You know what? I'm going to be spicy and say not PCP. Even though they're locked into playoffs, I don't care.
Well, yeah.
There's no way they make it out.
You have to choose between Splitters and Hydra. You have to choose.
No, he's technically the director of the stall. He could just say, you know what, PCP, you lose 100 stars.
No more.
Like, this is the chance star.
You lose all of your good noodle stars.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Hydra was just doing pretty good on those mini games. You got to give them like a couple of match wins there for free. I don't know.
2 wins off of PCP. But
want you to try.
But yeah, I have PCP and I have Wobbly Hydra. I honestly think that Wobbly Hydra is a very solid team. They've been playing for the most part together for the longest time. I know Monty, Pat, and Yang have been there since the get-go. They've always made it out of groups. They're a very solid team when it comes to getting out of groups. And I honestly believe that this might be their time to shine, and that they'll be able to make it at least into semis and maybe finals. So, any thoughts? Any other thoughts on these picks before we move on towards the end of the show?
Group 5. 5-way tie. Dream.
Yeah, you know, I changed all my predictions to whatever allows the 5-way tie to happen. Ignore everything I said before that.
Duck Peak upset.
Listen, honestly, I don't want the 5 team tie because it would be like funny. I want it because then Hirsch has to do more work on deciding which team goes through. You know, that's what.
Aren't you guys friends? You're supposed to be friends.
No, our friendship is ruined since he's not making.
Friends push each other to their limits. All right.
Yes.
Or will that actually work out to do, Hirsch? It'll build character.
Are you his father? What?
Hold on. All right, guys, come on. I have to beat Rojin. Let's wrap this up.
Real quick, I'm gonna do a little bit of outing here. I'm gonna out Manesia real quick.
Oh, that's rude.
It's still funny to this day when I look at it. When Manesia signed up his team for Aegis, he for his logo placeholder he submitted his homework.
Oh, I remember that.
Which you want to say that He's a dedicated individual that does his homework. Yeah.
What's a homework?
Yeah.
So hold on one second. We have somebody that wants to pop in here real quick and say something. So let me bring him in here so he can say something real quick on stream.
Oh.
What is up, Mr.
Hi, James.
James? What did you want to say?
All I'm going to say, we need more of those coin flips. Just flip coins in the side. It's enough with the logic, just coin flip.
Based.
Good insight. Good insight.
I love
Also
hitting
add-
50-50s.
Also want to add that
So true.
old James. I hate this new James. Old James was way cooler.
All right, real quick, we'll talk about this for like maybe 5-10 minutes before I send it off. What do you think is going to be the most popular deck that's going to be brought to Worlds?
Fashion asset.
Heimer Jace.
What do you
I think I'm Jace as well.
I'm very impartial to the fishy cult. I've been playing so much of it, and it's just like it feels like I'm kind of surprised. It feels like not a lot of people are like talking or bringing it, but it feels like very powerful. Probably because like it just competes and clashes with other decks that really want to bring Varus. But honestly speaking, like I wouldn't be surprised if like some fishy cult like traded the one of Varus for a one of Kayn, so that way you can like kind of like bring in Varus into other parts of your lineup. Because, like, very rarely does the free Varus draw actually matter. Like, I mean, it does help, obviously, but, like, if you just, like, lost one free draw, like, the rest of the deck is still popping off.
Here.
Oh, it was the Fizz, Nami, Varus deck.
Okay. Yeah. I like that.
It's the 2-3-1 split.
On the fish deck. Oh, we're on the fish deck. Quick note. Quick joke. What do you call a fish with no eyes?
Fish. Yeah.
I hate it here.
Just a second joke.
Hey, so what do you think is going to be the most popular deck bringing?
I said Ness trash when I began.
Are you actually being dead serious?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Ace, are you playing in Worlds?
Whoa. Yo, that's a rude thing to ask.
What if he says no on air?
Yeah, we're all very sensitive about that.
You know? Make a world without having your Giga Snail in there, man. Of course I'm playing Worlds. What do you mean?
Alright. I honestly think that Heimer Jace is going to be very popular. I say this all the time. I think Heimer Jace has been probably the most balanced deck and has been the biggest staple for like the past 3-4 seasonals. So I have no doubt that it's going to be seen a lot in Worlds.
If there's any fighting gamers in chat right now, Heimer Jace does feel like the new era Ryu for Legends of Runeterra. You just have like all like bare fundamental stuff. You have like a fireball with removal. You have like uppercut for like actual kill pressure. And reversals. Like I think that title used to go to Ezreal Noxus, like the Draven era, not the Seraphine stuff. But now Heimer Jace does feel like the very fair, mid-rangey, control-ish style deck.
I love how every player says Jace Heimer is overrated. Jace Heimer is just the perfect third deck.
It's very rated. It's not underrated. It's not overrated.
Yeah, it's rated.
It's like, very well-made.
It's a good deck. It's not overrated. If you think it's bad, you're wrong.
I think it's bad.
Right.
You're wrong.
I can't argue that's
I don't think it's a bad deck. I think people like to bring it is because like I don't know what to bring for my third deck. You know, I'm just gonna bring a staple deck. I'm gonna bring Heimer Jace.
Like it doesn't lose like very hard to anything. It doesn't win very hard against anything, and most of the games you actually play cards and do stuff.
Playing cards.
And, like,
what do you want?
A lot of games, like even into like bad matchups, you still have like outs to win if you just hit the right Pharaoh's hits or like the right flash hits. Like you can just like win game, like you can just win games at a hat sometimes, just like based off your RNG pools.
And you can go handler aggro, which like makes no sense in other control decks. Like it does so much well.
Yeah, plus sometimes you just get like the best Reggie hit. It's like, oh yeah, my entire board is elusive. Or you get like the Jace double cast lifesteal. Like that's after the 623 ones. I remember seeing that on Twitter. I felt so bad for them. They were like looking good and just like everything fell apart when like half the board got lifesteal.
Or the hidden ruination.
This is for Seku in chat. Lurk being terrible to test.
He's making the comparison that Prism sounds like BBG. And actually, you know what? Now that
terrible too.
you do. But now that I hear it, I actually can hear the comparison.
Have you seen BBG and me in the same stream, actually? Good point.
Monka S, did you get your money? Did you get your 1,000 gifted from your Climb to Masters?
Yeah.
That's all I can hear now. You're BBG now.
Confirm.
Right, anyone missing
Thank you,
BBG,
Seku.
I guess I should start streaming more, so that way people get their BBG fix.
Yeah,
The simulacrum.
Conch
Oh
wants
yeah, rate should be 5-5. I agree with that, actually. Maybe I am secretly
my
BBG, huh?
Manesia Conch wants you to bring Lurk Mother to Worlds.
Oh, Lurk Mother.
Well, tell him that he should bring it to Worlds. Wait.
Alright. Hey.
Sorry to do it. Gosh.
Your teammate.
Blow, man.
Alright. Thank you guys so much for coming and joining me. I know I asked you guys all last minute, but thank you all for coming out. I like to end the streams on or close out streams by everybody giving their shout outs. So starting from Ace, is there anybody you want to shout out?
Sure. I'll shout out my team that might play without me. I believe in you boys. You know, get the dub, beat ABG, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, Godra, anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah, shout out to Smooth Swallowist that's like preparing for Worlds and leaving us all to finish the job to make the playoffs. And shout out to Kever who's gonna win Worlds.
Listen, you say Smooth is preparing, but he's actually just like talking.
You know, I can't believe that Kevin can win Worlds after Lee got nerfed.
He couldn't play last year. He has 2 Worlds stacked.
Yeah, like Riot had to like pre-nerf him. They had to like keep him from playing, or he would have won.
Yeah, they were like, well, we'll let him play, but he won't be able to play his deck.
Right.
But yeah, you heard it first.
Manesia, anybody you'd like to shout out?
You know what? I'm gonna shout out my boy Kosh, right? You know, my ex-teammate. So he's not on the team anymore, but you know, like,
ouch.
like you know, through him, okay, you know, I will bring Lurk Mother to Worlds, all right, and I'll win because of him. All right, I'm gonna find the perfect hit at the right time, and but like for real though, like I had a great time with him in Aegis, and like you know, we learned a lot of things together, and I think that's what caused us to like be like strong teams this season as well.
I have a question, Manesia. Is it very hard to not let him influence the other players to bring decks that don't exist?
Okay, so that was the great thing when I was with Conch on the team. So you know how like a lot of times like you just have like 2 players like on just like the good decks in the meta. Well, Conch was always the third guy. They just brought whatever. Like we would give him a spork to like bring. Well, no, he would bring a spork himself to a gunfight, and then he'd just win anyway.
He's good at aiming the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, but does he make you want to bring a spork sometimes? Like is he?
Oh, for sure. Okay, it was always Seku. It was always Seku that like told me to like not be stupid and like get baited by Conch decks.
Yeah, you need one of those.
Yeah,
Cool.
Sek was always the
It
worst
answers
reason.
my question.
All I'm saying is I'm still waiting for Conch to bring 9x Paparo. I still we still
Still
haven't
surprised Opera doesn't have voice lines. That feels like a crime, and I don't even like the card.
we still haven't gotten our 9x Paparo, and I'm not happy about it, Conch. But
Give the people what they want.
exactly. All right, Prism Sword. Anybody you would like to shout out?
Firstly, I want to give a shout out to you and the whole Aegis Esports squad for organizing this whole event. Just the entire infrastructure and undertaking to make something as wonderful as this is a wonderful force for the community, and I think it's what makes LOR Esports so great. I'd also love to give shout outs to my wonderful teammates in PCP. We kind of rallied together to form the roster like very, very last minute, but I couldn't be happier with the people that I was able to actually make it with. Max, Prodigy, Tank Buster, you're all so wonderful, and I can't wait till we put in some more work for playoffs. Also, just want to give a shout out to the overall LOR community. Like, a lot of people just make the game wonderful in its own right. I still stand by it. It's the best card game on the market, and I think the community definitely adds to that factor too. So I hope Riot can give some more love to LOR itself as well, because it's such a cool game as well, both competition and storyline wise. And also shout out to my prison pals watching. And there's a few from my own stream. What's up to all you guys that are tuning in?
That's too wholesome, man. Get that shit out of here. We're not here for that.
Okay, sure. Gotta hate on everyone. You know, I hate PCP. I'm part of PCP. I hate PCP. I hate myself.
Everybody sucks.
Anger. Hatred. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna make this quick announcement. You heard it here first, folks. Conch said he's going to bring 9x Paparo, or he is paying everyone in the league $50.
Honestly, can we just bench Conch because I need the $50?
Free.
Alrighty. So I want to make a shout out to everybody that to you four for actually coming out and doing the show with me. It's been a blast. I want to thank
thanks for having me.
I want to thank everybody in the league and that's watching the stream right now. Thank you for supporting us. You guys are amazing. We're able to do what we do because of you, and we love every minute of it.
Yeah, and thanks for this league is generally what I call like peak LOR. I'm not even being like, I'm not even kidding when I say this. It's like the best LOR playing experience I've had, and I look forward to like playing it every season.
Thank you. Alrighty, one more quick announcement for you America's people. Next week you have off. Next week you guys have off because of Thanksgiving. So since this week is the last week, we've already made this announcement, but for those who didn't see, you have until the 28th to reschedule your matches. So use that as you will. So
no, I'm playing tomorrow.
But Decklock is still, regardless, Decklock is still tomorrow at midnight EST. So please be on time. We don't want to give out we don't want to give out warnings. We don't want to have to give out any penalties. It's last week. It's very important for you guys.
Did we get a penalty this season?
I don't even remember. I don't even know how many people have gotten penalties this season off the top of my head.
We actually, I will give away the game for, but PC actually got a warning because we had to like schedule like on like midnight. Like we were like kind of scrambling. I had to like get the Google Doc ready as like they're giving me the deck list. So I'm like, all right, guys, I'll rally together the list. And I like submitted. I think on midnight we still got the warning, but I think that's still like fair.
But yeah. Anyways.
Oh hell yeah, Monty, we're in it together.
Hey man, we're cracking down. We're fully autonomous on deck checking now. It's no longer me waiting until 11:50 at night for 7 to 8 teams to submit their decks at the last minute. No.
You're the real MVP.
Wait, it was always 7 to 8 teams.
I,
Everybody did that?
last season, I will say it was always 7 to 8 teams that would always wait till the last 10 minutes to submit, and I was the one manually checking decks, so I went through everybody's lineups every single week, and it was just me. But now we have the staff. Now we're becoming fully autonomous. It's making life for us easier now. So, anybody have any final remarks before we send it off?
That's it.
No.
Looking forward to final week in playoffs. See you guys then.
Let's go. Alrighty. I'm Sir Hirsch. I've been joined by Ace, Goddraw, Manasia, and Real Prism Sword. You guys have been awesome tonight. Thank you for coming once again. Good luck in your final week of Aegis Esports in week 5. Hopefully you guys will be able to make, or most of you guys, one of them's already submitted or locked in or PCP. Hopefully the rest of you will be able to make playoffs. Once again, you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic night. Stay safe. Stay blessed. And we'll see you next time.
Likewise.
Have a good one, everyone.